Community collaboration, where you bring multiple partners together, is really the only way that neighborhood redevelopment and stabilization can take place.
I think in this case, highest and best use really came down to what do we, the nonprofit developers, think we can do? What does the neighborhood want to see? And how can we make those two mesh together?
It's a wonderful adventure that we're on right now, and I hope that we continue to make changes. When you ride down Kent Street, from Lakewood to Moorhead, we can count the number of houses that we've done, not just on one hand now, but on two hands. We used to count the number of homes there.
In 2001, 6 neighborhoods strategically located between downtown Durham and Duke University came together and decided that they had a shared responsibility for their quality of life. They decided it would be more effective for them to work together to improve their communities. So they founded Southwest Central Durham Quality of Life Project to make it all happen. Duke called that first meeting, and it was really tense. This was not the first time this had been tried. I was hired by Duke's Office of Community Affairs to coordinate the project because of my professional experience and my deep roots within the neighborhoods. Early on, there was a period of about 2 years that everyone called the Civil War years. At the end of every meeting, we took a vote. Do we want to continue? The hands went up, and we stayed with it. Eventually, we found common ground in 4 areas, and of these, housing was really important. We discovered quickly, though, that we couldn't make changes alone. We needed help. We turned to the Self-Help Credit Union, a nationally recognized leader in affordable housing right here in Durham, and they had already worked with Duke in the Walltown neighborhood. We came up with a plan where Duke would underwrite the purchase of the properties, and then Self-Help could help manage the redevelopment process.
Self-Help's endeavors in housing development are really based off of the fact that we believe that you build wealth through ownership, and ownership primarily comes from owning your own home. We really wanted to see a collaboration between the different nonprofit developers in Durham in one particular neighborhood to figure out whether or not, A, we could all work together, but also what the impact could be if we concentrated our efforts into one neighborhood. We saw advantages to having Duke focusing their efforts in terms of supporting neighborhood development. We saw the advantage of the fact that there were neighborhood associations already developed in the communities that we wanted to work in. Durham Community Land Trustees had a long history in the neighborhood, so they were able to speak to the historical experiences around housing development. Habitat for Humanity was really looking for a way to stay inside the inner city instead of developing on new land, working in infill housing. So it sort of all came together at once. What we didn't know was that how beneficial each of those partners would be to one another.
Our first project together was Pauli Murray Place. 13 new houses to be built on a cul-de-sac that had been home to liquor houses and illegal gambling. It made sense to name the project for an amazing woman who grew up in the same neighborhood and became a civil rights activist, lawyer, poet, and an Episcopal priest. She was known as a visionary, and we wanted to do this project in her visionary spirit.
This community always had a group of people who were strong civic leaders and workers within the context of this community. They might not have been known all over this city. They might not have had the most prominent names, or names that many of the people in this city knew about. But this community had strong civic leaders.
Bringing all of these housing developers to the table to work together in our neighborhoods was important. But the Quality of Life project was only going to be successful if residents got involved in the process and had a say in their collective future. Duke set the stage for this.
I think that the thing which has distinguished the neighborhood partnership from the beginning has been not that Duke was going in with the answers and saying, we're going to go do this. We went in saying, what do you see as your issues? How do you see yourself addressing those issues? And again, how can Duke be a partner with you in that? There was a time when I think folks said, oh, if Duke just comes in and throws money at the problem, that'll sort of solve it. That wasn't going to work. You know, it wasn't going to work within the university, and it wasn't going to work outside. Instead, it's become much more, what are the good ideas? What are the things we should be doing? What are all the resources we can capture to move forward, and then take it from there?
I think housing development on its own is a fine thing. It changes the aesthetics of a neighborhood, especially infill. I can really make a person think that the neighborhood is doing well and looks well and is stabilized and safe. But unless we really think about what's behind those doors, we haven't really done much. So it's really key to being able to be a good community developer is to know that you've got a neighborhood that's empowered.